we're back to knife reviews, and today, as you can see from the title, it's the Schrade 304, which is this here. In the Schrade heavy duty series, there's a number of variations. The knife we're looking at today is a Spearpoint blade, textured handle. You can also get a part serrated blade and a plain handle. And there's also a Tanto blade version, and again plain or textured handle, plain or part serrated blade. Now the reason this caught my eye, which you may not be able to pick up at this distance, but we'll look at it in close-up, is its very close resemblance to the Crusader Forge Viz T. And we'll just have a look at that comparison. So first the Schrade, and then the Crusader Forge, Schrade, Crusader Forge, Schrade, Crusader Forge, Schrade, Crusader Forge. Now, I think that is a bit naughty. I've not been able to find any reference to a collaboration or a tie-up between Crusader Forge and Schrade, in the way that, for example, with the Boca Nano Plus, David Curtis was on board, the design was used with his permission, and rumour has it that his company even provided the trademark waterjet cut pocket clip. But here it just does look like they've nicked the design. So given that the Schrade costs £30, about $48, and I know that in America it probably only costs $25, that's just how it is over here, and the Crusader Forge costs $725. Let's see what you get for your money. Okay, so this is the Schrade 304 close up. Spearpoint, hollow ground, channels milled on the handle for texturing. It's a frame lock, ambidextrous thumb studs, a reasonably deep carry pocket clip, no jimping on the back as such, but there are a couple of indentations there which do provide a nice seat for the thumb. If we have a look at the specs on this huge knife, overall length is 8.5 inches, 216mm. It's got a 3 3/4 inch blade, which is 94mm. The blade steel is 9CR 18 MOV, and it's 4.2mm thick. It weighs 9.7 ounces, that's 275 grams. It's absolutely huge and heavy. Just for a size comparison, if we look at the normal Victorinox Spartan, and then perhaps something a little bit more heavy duty, the Victorinox one-handed Forester. So you can see it's very, very chunky. The type of knife that this is trying to be, things like the Crusader Forge, Sniper Blade Works, people like that, Medford Knife and Tool, if they were making something in this style, they would have titanium
handle scales, whereas this is all steel. One of the problems that I foresee is that you've got a steel lock bar against a steel blade. Now, a lot of people make a fuss about the lockup on their frame locks and liner locks, and this is about 50%, maybe 40% lockup, and people worry about, is it going to wear, is it going to burst if you use the knife for anything heavy duty. And I don't think that's the issue here. It's this cheap steel against cheap steel. I think if you were to use this as a heavy duty knife, I could imagine the locking up, in that when you release it, you can already feel the friction between the two steel ends. There's no lock bar over travel protection, but by the time you've passed the end of the blade, you're pushing very hard anyway. And given that most people will apply a little bit of pressure to the blade, so that as soon as the lock bar is free, the blade moves, and then you stop pushing. I think if you were to push the lock bar too far, then probably you deserve to break the knife, because you'd have to be trying really hard. The fit and finish, given that this is only a £30 knife, is really good. I believe this is a titanium coating, and it appears to be the same coating on the blade as the handle. It's an open frame construction. We've just got two standoffs, and then the pivot and the stop pin's hidden. The Schrade logo cut in there, and there is a lanyard hole. I think this is far too heavy for an EDC knife, and I think maybe I'd take the pocket clip off and add a longish lanyard so that it can be carried in a pack or in a belt pouch. Nice and smooth action opening, and the blade is perfectly well centered. As I say, it's 4.2mm thick with this hollow grind. I haven't got calipers to measure it, but it does feel like, even with quite a severe hollow, it might still be quite thick at the edge. It does come with a good factory edge though. Bit of catalogue paper. And that is lovely and smooth. But how would it fare if you were to use it for anything more heavy duty? We've got some single layer corrugated cardboard. You do feel some resistance. It cuts well, but it certainly doesn't slice through in the way a narrow blade like an Opinel would. And then if we go heavier again, we've got some cardboard tube, 3mm wall, very hard. Don't know how we're going to get on here, but we'll give it a go. So it cuts, you do feel the resistance, but the problem is this edge with the corners of the recess for the lock spring and the pocket clip don't half dig into your hand. You couldn't do much heavy duty work because of these quite severe hot spots. And I think of the knives I've reviewed to date, This is the first one where hot spots in use are a massive and immediate issue. So having said that, what's the verdict? Well, Cutlery Lover has very recently reviewed these knives, and he says they are very good knives for the money. Bit heavy for EDC pocket carry, but he sees a definite place for them as a heavy duty folder in your pack or in your truck. And I'm afraid I can't endorse that. I like it a lot. I think it's well worth 30 quid. It's a lot of fun for £30, and it's very well made for £30, but as any kind of heavy duty use knife, it's useless. Sad to say, but this corner here and this edge and this corner here and the pocket clip, they're just going to shred your pinky. They really are going to dig in, and that's a real shame because I like it. I like flipping it open when I can do it. It's, as I say, it's very smooth, it's very well finished. Little hole on the back there for lubrication. Model number stamped into the blade. And if you can't shell out $725 for a Crusader forge, then this does give you some idea of what it would be like to handle a knife in that style. One of the big tanks, the big beasts that are having a bit of a moment in fashion. But it's not much use for using, I'm afraid. Not much use for using. Still, I don't regret spending the 30 quid on it. It's a lot of fun. But it won't replace my Swiss Army knives. So, hope you found that interesting. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.